Hi Math 8 students, today we're solving equations involving squares and cubes. So here's this first example, looks pretty challenging, but I promise if you've mastered solving regular equations, you can do these without a problem. So first thing we want to do, as always, is to get rid of any parentheses that are there. So we have half times 18x plus 54, so we can distribute that 1/2 to make this easier to solve. So we bring down x cubed plus 9x equals half of 18, which is 9x, remember you're multiplying, and half of 54, which is 27. Now, this is really easy to solve because we have positive 9x on both sides. By subtracting 9x from both sides, I canceled out both of them, leaving me with x cubed equals 27. Then I take the cube root, and if you remember from the previous lesson, the cube root of 27 is 3. And that's because 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 again is 27. Now, if you weren't 100% sure of that, you could go to your calculator, put in 27, x root y, 3 equals, and you get 3. And if you check it, cube it, you get back to 27. So you can do that pretty easily with your calculator. So there's that question, nice and simple. I think you guys can handle it. Let's try another one. So for number 2, another lengthy equation, but still something we can handle. So we start again by distributing x times x, and then x times -3 gives us x squared minus 3x. Now, just as a little reminder, when you have x plus x, you get 2x. When you have x times x, you get x squared. Try not to confuse the two, especially when you move into algebra at the high school level. You'll be using this a lot, and it's very important that you don't mess them up, because if you mess them up, you change the whole equation, and you're not going to get the right answer. All right, so we bring down the -51 equals -3x plus 13. And again, just like we saw in the last problem, we have -3x on both sides. So we can add 3x to both sides and cancel them out. That leaves us with x squared minus 51 equals 13. Then we can add 51 to both sides of the equal sign, which gives us x squared equals 64. And we all know that the square root of 64 is 8. But when we're solving an equation, believe it or not, it's either both positive and negative 8. And that's because a positive times a positive, positive 8 times positive 8 is going to be positive 64. And -8 times -8 is also going to be positive 64. So in the past, we've been talking about what's called the principal square root. So when you take the square root of 64, automatically you think of 8. That's the principal square root. Okay? But all square roots actually have two answers. It's positive answer and it's negative answer, because when you multiply a positive by a positive, you get a positive, and when you multiply a negative by a negative, you also get that positive. So just something to keep in mind, whenever you're taking the square root, you should put that plus and negative for your answer to show that there are actually two answers. And that's going to come up a whole lot next year in algebra when you're solving something called quadratic equations. Okay, so let's move on to our next example. Number 3. Again, we have a tricky equation. Looks very challenging, but I promise you can handle it. We're going to start by combining like terms on one side to make this similar or simpler. So we have x squared minus 14 equals 5x minus 5x cancels out. So we just have 67. And now we have a very basic equation. So we're going to add 14 to both sides, leaving us with x squared equals 7 plus 4 is 11, carry the 1, so it's 81. Take the square root, and we know that the square root of 81 is 9, but now we also know that it could also be -9, so it's plus and minus 9, or positive and negative 9. All right. I hope you guys are catching on to this pretty quickly. It's just adding another layer with the squares and cubes to the equations that you are used to working with. Okay, so I'm going to skip to number 5. You're going to do 4 later on your own. So here we have a very long equation with parentheses on both sides. So we want to get rid of those parentheses first by multiplying with the distributive property. So 4x squared times x is going to be 4x cubed. So keep in mind, x times x is x squared. X squared times x is x cubed. And that's using the law of multiplying like bases by adding the exponents. That 2 plus 1 becomes a 3, so it's x cubed. Then we have 4x squared times 3, or negative 3, is going to be negative 12x squared. Plus 5x squared equals, okay, so it can be tricky sometimes when you're bringing things down to miss something. Please remember not to miss anything. Make sure you're getting all of those elements of the original equation. Then we have half x times 2x squared is going to be just 1x cubed. Again, the x times x squared is x cubed. Half of 2 is 1. Then half x times negative 14x is negative 7x squared. And then we have the plus 24. Okay, so lots of things that we can do here to make this simpler. First, I'm going to look to see if there's anything on one side that has like terms that can be put together. And I see negative 12x squared plus 5x. So I'm going to put that together. So I get 4x cubed, and negative 12 plus 5 is negative 7, so it's negative 7x squared equals 1x cubed minus 7x squared plus 24. Now, like we saw in those earlier equations, we have the same term on both sides. So if I add 7x squared to both negative 7x squareds, they cancel out, making this an easier equation to solve. So now I have 4x cubed equals 1x cubed plus 24. So now I'm going to subtract that 1x cubed, and I get 3x cubed equals 24. So now I need to get that x cubed by itself. So I'm going to divide by 3. And I get x cubed equals 8. So my last step is to do the cube root. And hopefully, again, you remember from previous lessons that the cube root of 8 is 2. Now, like we saw with square roots you get that positive and negative answer. With cube roots, you cannot. Only 2 times 2 times 2 gives me positive 8. If I did negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, I would get negative 8. So the cube root of negative 8 is negative 2. The cube root of positive 8 is positive 2. So don't put the plus or minus when it's a cube root, only when it's a square root. All right, so we did lots of equations today. You guys are going to try some on your own. Numbers 4 and 6. Again, while you're working, be careful to show all your steps. Make sure you're not missing any of the terms, and I'll be around to help you guys out, of course. Good luck.